Hello, you people who really want to know stuff. Today, I'm pleased to look at two fantastic products. The Strymon Iridium, very small, 3-pedal platform modular, and a very easy to understand pedal. If you don't like the big menus and you hook it up to a computer and do all the editing stuff and loads of effects and a billion amps and cabs thing that a Helix or Kemper or XFX or whatever would be, or G11 from Zoom, there's some great products out there that give you everything. If you have a kick-ass board with pedals that you like, well, then you might want to have an amp simulator that goes on that board and is a conduit, that's a word, for those pedals. Now, Strymon has that, and now Walrus Audio has it in it's a similar idea, but they put their own spin on it. So we look at the difference in features. The price is almost the same. Walrus Audio is a tiny little bit cheaper, a couple of bucks, but nothing that's going to sway your decision. What's going to sway your decision? Sound? We'll find out. I have a hunch I know what's going on, but both of them, don't get me wrong, are great products. I'm not getting paid by either of them to make this video. I did get paid by Walrus Audio to make the ACS1 video, but Strymon supplied the Iridium last year so that I could go to NAMM with it. So thank you, Strymon. And, well, the ACS1 is here because I did the video for it. But this is an unpaid video that is because who would pay me for that, okay? None of them. So I'm making this because it's interesting. Put them there, Leslie. So, the ACS1 is smaller. I'm going to go and say, okay, +1 for the ACS1. That's the Amp and Cab Simulator 1. When it comes to names, Iridium kicks ass. It's cool. It's some element. I don't know. But they want to name the Mako series, D1, delay, R1, reverb. They're great pedals, but they keep the names simple. Why not? We see bass, middle, treble, bass, middle, treble. That's the same. We see volume, level, same. Gain, drive, same. 3 amps, round, chime, and punch. And here we have, that would be, where am I? Fullerton, Dartford, and London. Okay? Clicky switches, clicky switches. On the Iridium, when you go to another amp, it does automatically switch to 3 cabs that complement that amp, which you can change on both of them. Here, the 3 cabs are always the same, but by holding in bypass, you can switch to 3 different ones. So the cabs don't change with the amps. Pro, con, I don't know. In the end, you'll find the cab that you like and you save it. Presets, 1, 2, 3. Red, I'm on boost. Red, green, and blue. Here, favorite switch. So there's a one preset that you can select right on it, but I think with MIDI you can get more. Okay, so here you have 3, here you kind of have whatever's on it, and then the favorite. Both of them have a room knob, which puts the amp and cab in a virtual room, and that's very important to give it a little bit of space and let it breathe. Because this doesn't need a favorite switch, because you have the presets with both, you actually have a boost. So when that's flashing, you have a different gain, and technically, as far as I understand it, volume setting. Let me check on that. Yeah, you click this. As soon as it's lighting up, you set a different boost, a different gain in volume, and that's your boost setting. So you kind of have, you can give it a volume or a gain boost. In my video, the volume wasn't really, working. But again, this is a beta version. So any day now, they're going to have the final version where any problems are gone. So we have stereo in and out, 2 actual plugs, stereo out, 2 actual plugs, a USB, which I think, yes, the Strymon has as well. Now, the Strymon has a, really? The Strymon has a mini USB. Now, mini USB has not been used in 10 years. Apparently, that's gone. We have micro USB and now USB-C. Why would Strymon use an outdated plug? I think technically they're more sturdy than the micro. The micro are kind of flimsy, but it is the older system. Getting a cable for that, you can get the cable, whatever. MIDI. The Iridium has an expression input, which the ACS1 doesn't. And you can assign certain things to expression or even do like morph between settings, something like this on the Iridium. But you have expression or MIDI through TSR, through a stereo plug. On the ACS1, you have no expression input, but full MIDI plugs. Big, regular MIDI plugs. So that's good. On the Iridium, if you want to go in stereo, that bugs me a little bit. If you want to go in stereo, you have to have a TRS cable. So you're coming from 2 into a TRS cable, so an insert cable that splits into 2 mono cables. It's not a problem to get it, but it's not something that regularly you use on your board. And but that's the way to do it. On the ACS1, you can just use 2 cables. So I'm going to go in terms of ease of use. That's a little bit simpler. Price-wise, same. Size-wise, close. ACS1 is regular pedal size. Iridium is regular Strymon size, but it's not a huge pedal by any means. And we go and check out sound. Oh, the biggest difference, of course, is that the punch is a plexi, which can get you quite a bit of gain to, like, you know, classic rock sounds. Whereas on the ACS1, the London is also a Marshall, but it's a blues breaker. So it doesn't in any way get you that amount of gain. Other than that, the Fullerton is the round, which is a deluxe Fendery thing. Fendery, not Fender, Fendery. And the Dartford is a Voxish kind of a thing. AC30-ish. It's a freaking AC30, we know. And that's the chime. So we're going to start right here. And I have an amp switcher. The route box from Carl Martin right here on the table. As Leslie said, it's a little bit dirty, but that's how it is. Those Danes, dirty Danes. And there's, of course, also the Voyager on the table if we want to see how they respond to pedals, which, I mean, that's the whole freaking idea. How do they take pedals? This is, of course, an Ibanez AZ2204 TAB. Am I? Okay, this is the Iridium right now on Fendery. And now we're on the ACS1. Very mid-honky there, but a lot depends on the cab. Frequency response is all cab, trust me. That's the Iridium again. Okay, impression. ACS1 does sound more realistic. Sounds more like amp in room. Strymon sounds cleaner. Not clinical necessarily. Still way less clinical than a Pod or something. But both good, it's just flavors. Okay, let's try different cabs. You can't really get the same kind of feel. I'm leaning just gut a little bit towards the ACS1. Yeah, it feels more like there's an amp in the room. Let's put an overdrive in front of him. We're still on the ACS1. All the frequency response differences you're hearing is very clearly IR related. So with different cabs comes a big change in mids, high end and low end. I think I detected a little bit of fizzleness on the Iridium, a tiny little bit of fizzleness. Can you hear that? A little bit of digitally fizzily in the top end. Okay, we're moving on to the Chime or the Dartford. And on the Strymon, you have immediately more gain. And I think one of those, I think middle or something, works as a cut knob. I don't know if that's the same on the ACS1. I don't think so. Goes Chime first clean. That's very, very beautiful chiming. The Strymon is a little bit more cutting, to a little bit more piercing. Again, frequency response IR, but very close. Okay, with the pedal. And to the Strymon. Yeah, it's the same damn thing if you ask me. But where the ACS1 stops, that's the max gain. Wait, that's the max gain, without the overdrive, of course. It also blows up a bit. the Strymon goes further. So, yeah, Iridium on the Vox model gives you quite a bit more gain without pedals in front of it. Okay? Now, of course, this is very different. The London on the ACS1 is simulating a JTM, which is a bluesbreaker type thing, which has a lot of dynamics, lots of compression, or reduced dynamics, lots of compression, and can get fizzle-esque and fuzz-esque when it's driving, whereas a Plexi has, more gain than that and doesn't do that. So right here on the Strymon, I'm on punch. Before we go to high gain or higher gain. Also, the cabs are adjusted for that amp on the Strymon. That's the Strymon. Back to the Strymon. I like the roundness of the Strymon a bit more. I'm thinking that the Strymon comes with better IRs compared to the Walrus. Better suited especially for that sound, rounder and fuller. However, the Walrus still sounds more like cabin amp in a room to me. We're talking about 10% more. Okay? Both are great boxes. They will get the job done. So let's see. And this is, of course, the big difference. Right here, this is max gain on that London setting. I have a feeling that the ACS1 would benefit from a nice 412 IR, and then if you want that kind of gain, you'd have to push it with something. Probably not the Voyager because that's taking out the bass. Yeah, so that's a bad idea. The ACS1 is more of a pedal, no, well, they're both pedal platforms, but the Iridium goes further when it comes to gain. I personally think that the IR selection in the Iridium is a little bit on top of the ACS1, where the ACS1 is very, very good, is doing this. So I'm picking my London here, okay? I'm going to the right side, I'm picking a Fullerton with that cab. And I have 2 amps. 2 amps, 2 different cabs, 2 different settings, completely different settings. And I'm doing dual amping now, giving me a really nice stereo field. Okay, so done. Price, let's throw it out the window. It's very similar. Cab selection, I think the Strymon has die Nase vorn, as we say in German. I think it has its nose in the front. I don't. English, German. Sometimes doesn't work. It's one-upping the Walrus. But that's not anything that you can't update with the software very easily on the ACS1. So, okay, you get your own cab. If you want something that rocks hard right out of the box, trying to rhyme, doesn't work. Then the Iridium is probably the better choice because it goes higher gain on the chime and the punch. It's got more gain reserves. So both of them work great with pedals. If you want to have more gain, okay, just put a pedal in front of it. But the Iridium by itself does rock a bit harder when it comes to gain. The feature set, I think, on the ACS1 is better, considering that we didn't test this, but you've got the boost thing, you got the presets, you got the big MIDIs in and through, and you got full stereo inputs, which here you have a TRS stereo input, and that left-right stereo thing is way cool. You could possibly even play with 2 guitar players through this thing. Oh, yes, you can. Set up one on the left, set up one on the right, go in left, go in right, 2 guitar players playing through one pedal. So, oh, God, that's kind of... Okay, putting a lot more value on the ACS1, realistically. It does sound... where they do sound the same gain-wise. I think the ACS1 has 10% more realism, 10% more, there's a tube. When I get to the Iridium, it's a little bit more, sterile is the wrong word because it's a very good sound. But modeliciousness, I can't describe it. The ACS1, in the video for it, I switched to my actual amps and the differences were almost negligible. I think it's a little bit closer to the real deal than the Iridium is. But the Iridium has, I think, very good cabs and more gain. And they're similar price. Does size matter with these? The Iridium is a little bit bigger. However, it's only top-loaded, only up here, everything. Whereas on the ACS1, you have cables here, you have cables here, you've got cables on the top if you want to do MIDI. So realistically, once this is all cabled up, you have the same size as this, or maybe even more. So maybe we can consider size. 3 presets, 1 and a favorite. The boost is kind of cool. Per preset, that gives you kind of 6 or 4.5 sounds, let's say. Do we have a clear winner? Low gain stuff, I'm gonna go ACS1. If you want to rock without putting a pedal in front of it, by itself, let's say I go to NAMM and I want to plug in guitars and get everything in one box, which you don't go to NAMM, and right now no one's going to NAMM, and then it's going to be the Iridium. Bottom line, they're both great. Can you get those sounds out of an HX Stomp? Well, I've seen a video where someone programmed the Iridium sounds verbatim, 1-to-1. You couldn't tell the difference. The HX Stomp sounded identical to the Iridium, but you're gonna have to put in a lot of time with the HX Stomp to get it to sound like this. Whereas you put the Iridium on the floor, bam, it sounds good right there. ACS1, bam, it sounds good right there. So there you go. That's my verdict. I don't know. If I had to buy one, it really depends on what styles, what pedals do I want to use it with? Do I need the full steeriness? Do I want left and rightedness? If I want the closest sound to a clean / edge of breakup amp in the room, it's going to be ACS1. And the Iridium is 5 to 10% behind, 5% behind that. Realistically, in a mix, nobody gives a shit. Strymon did an amazing product. Walrus Audio did an amazing product. They're pricing it very similarly. Maybe go by color. There you go. I'll put links to both below. Sorry, I couldn't help you more. They're both good. And links below. Thanks, Leslie, for switching. And animals at the end.